Please welcome Richard Olcott.
Good morning, everyone. Just going to get our first slide here. So you're looking at, this is some of the recent and not so recent output from our studio. We at Ennead are committed to the creation of architecture in the public realm, but we find that making architecture is not just about making buildings. Our practice is really at the nexus of myriad disciplines that inform design solutions, including engineering, sociology, technology, preservation, urbanism, resiliency, and we find that we need to reach beyond our traditional boundaries and address issues that really inspire us. We're really looking to be our own client. Why can't we be our own client and answer the questions that intrigue us? So what we've really done here is to actually form within our office a thing we call Ennead Lab, which brings together collective knowledge all around us here in New York, maybe even here in this room, and use that as a vehicle to advance design thinking. So in collaboration with artists and professionals, with scholars, community activists, government agencies, our studio as architects leverage design to address a variety of civic challenges and opportunities. Over the past 5 years, the lab has sponsored 12 projects, and you're seeing some of those here, in a collaborative design process that brings together inspiration and ideas from within our office and also beyond to create design solutions. So you'll see a wide range of projects today. I want to show you some from various different scales, but I want you to know these things are important to us, and I hope that they're important to you as well. So I'm going to walk you through 4 of these projects, and each one deals with a different kind of issue and at a different scale. Whether it's local or regional or global, or whether it's technological or social or environmental. So here's the first one. This is our bird-friendly glass lab. This represents a very significant technological challenge. Modern architecture is all about glass buildings, but I don't know if you know, if you lined up all the birds that are killed in collisions with buildings, they would wrap around, in 1 year, they would wrap around the globe 3 times, and that's only in this country. And so that's a sort of amazing and horrible fact, I think. And so we're looking for a way, how can we design buildings with glass that birds can see? So working with ornithologists and with glass manufacturers, we've developed a process and a facility for developing and testing patterns and coatings on glass that birds can recognize as a barrier. So this is a simple test. It's like going to the eye doctor. The bird flies through a tunnel towards the light at the end, and it either flies right or left, depending on what it sees. But before it gets there, there's a net, so the birds, nothing happens to the birds. And you can see here, actually, we've incorporated this for the first time in one of our new buildings. This is a laboratory building under construction at Vassar College. And more importantly, we're working to get a LEED certification point for this technology. So here's another project. This is something totally different. This is actually a much more of a regional issue and a social one. You're seeing here a master plan for the Heroic Food Farm program. It's located upstate in Claverack, New York. This is an issue that's oncoming to all of us, I think, here. American farmers are retiring, and on average, their kids are not taking over the farms. At the same time, veterans are returning and experiencing high rates of unemployment, and they're looking for a new mission. So how can we put those two things together, make them symbiotic? Heroic Food thinks that you can do that, and we agree with them, and they've asked us to work with them. So they've established this new training center actually up in Claverack, New York, which is at the epicenter of a great many local farms. And it's a pilot program to show how veteran farmers can be integrated into farming communities across the country. So you can see here, it's actually one of the first pass at the master plan, and it's really a challenge to take a residential farm that takes returning veterans, which they say at Heroic Food, from barracks to barns. So the program's up and running, and here you can see the first greenhouse is being raised. You can see here, I'm sorry. They're fundraising for the rest of the phases, and they need your support. So now here I want you to meet Fred. Fred is our finalist in FAAR Rock competition in the Rockaways, which is for a new housing community post-Hurricane Sandy. Fred stands for fostering resilient ecological development and envisions a new way of coastal living. And you can see this is the challenge. Climate change, rising sea levels, we all heard about a lot this morning. These are two of the most environmental challenges, the most important ones out there, especially right here in New York City. So this is actually a proposal for a flexible, a kit of parts that is a kind of innovative but resilient way to live out at the beach. Here you can see some of those parts. We've rethought the various elements, dunes, piers, housing clusters. The idea of this is that these are flexible. They're literally movable over time, so that as the dune moves and the barrier island moves, you could actually move with it. And this is a systematic approach, but it's been recognized as an innovative model that could be implemented in communities up and down the eastern seaboard. So lastly, this is a much bigger issue. We all know that this is probably one of the biggest issues facing the world today. And in the collaboration with the United Nations High Commission for Refugees and with Stanford University, we're rethinking the design and the implementation of refugee camps. The challenge is that there are 20 million people worldwide spending an average of 17 years in camps, and they were intended to be only temporary. So could we do a better camp? Well, they start as camps, but then they become cities organically. So we're working on a framework for design that connects the refugees with host communities in ways that are mutually beneficial in the long term. You can see here, we're not designing a thing, we're designing a process. It's a way of moving from emergency, to contingency and through to an eventual integration. Typically, these settlements, they're separate from their host communities, but moving forward, we're looking to integrate them. And you can see we're analyzing it also at many different scales, considering everything from site selection, potential regional opportunities, and then eventual design and construction. So how's that for a challenge? That's a big one, we think. I guess in the end, I just want to say we believe design has a profound impact on our world, and as architects and citizens, we have a responsibility to address these kinds of challenges and to look for those opportunities. And we're interested in having new partners and having new ideas. So if you see here, here's our website. Please, everyone, get in touch. Thank you very much.